For those of you listening on the pod,
Welcome into hour two. Let's get into it. We got Jason Marshall out of Florida. I'm not going to lie, boys. I went, who? Just like Snoop when I seen this name. And when you look at where he's at on our board, he's extremely low. When you look at the mock drafts, he's extremely low. By the time we get through going through this profile and just the type of player he was coming out of high school, I think you guys are going to be intrigued. I know I was. I got really excited after reading this whole profile. So here we go. They scheduled a top 30 visit with Florida cornerback Jason Marshall per team sources, eyeing him as a potential late round steal in the 2025 NFL draft, ranked 332 on our PTA big board. Do you have him pulled up right now, Emilio, by chance?
Yes, I would just real quick had him stacked up in the corner just by position. So just bringing back to Jordan Hancock, Jacob, to your point, right next to him, Mac McWilliams. Packers met with him. Jason Marshall's about 10 corners down in our numbers. But that puts him in front of like Fentrell Cypress, Cam Stone, those kind of guys. Now we have him. Let's see, Jason Marshall here is at 332, 537 for 22, 446 for 23, 336 for 24, PFF Big Board 182, consensus 182.
Gotcha. So they're seeing him as a top 200 pick, as where we're seeing him in the 332 spot because the PFF grades.
PFF grades. I mean, obviously they're getting better each year, but we haven't broken the top 350 corners. We gotta.
Yeah, and when you see the grade, you'll probably go, "Oh, that's not that bad," because it's not. But I just like to know, out of all the cornerbacks in all of college football, here's where this person ranked. I really like to have that at my disposal there. So it goes on to say, Marshall brings a lean 6 foot, 194-pound frame that meets the threshold, obviously. 30.25-inch arms, offering the Packers a mix of speed, ball skills, and developmental upside to deepen their secondary. All right, this is him in high school, like a man bear out there. 5-star recruit. I repeat, a 5-star recruit out of Palmetto High School in Miami, Florida. In the 2021 class, Jason Marshall arrived as an elite defensive back prospect with a 96.88 grade from On3. So for those of you who don't know, On3 is an excellent high school recruiting site. They take all of the major sites and come up with what they call an On3 industry grade. It's the best you can get is 100. He was a 96.88. At 6 foot and 175 pounds, he flashed fluid hips, quick twitch agility, and a fearless approach in coverage, doubling as a track star with a 10.6 second 100-meter dash. His senior tape showcased sticky man coverage skills and a playmaker's nose for the ball, earning him all-state honors, ranked number 5 among Florida prospects. For those of you who don't know, Florida is like a huge pipeline of college prospects. Florida, Georgia, now North Carolina starting to pick up some steam. Obviously, Texas has always been a powerhouse, but Florida is like that. You want elite athletes, that's where you go recruit at. It's one of the reasons why the SEC was so strong before the NIL era. Now that the NIL era has hit, some of these northern teams are really dipping into Florida and grabbing those prospects, and I don't blame them one bit. So number 5 ranked in Florida is a big deal there. Marshall chose Florida over, listen to these schools that he got offered. He chose Florida over Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, and LSU, heralded as a top-tier talent with NFL potential. When you look at the PFF grades here in Florida, starting in 2021, 71.1, then a 65.9, 68.6, and back up to a 71.2. When you look at the snaps, he's pretty much an outside corner, 402 snaps out wide last year, 21 in the slot, 20 in the box as well. So he's definitely more of an outside corner when it comes to that. His coverage grade, 72.1, with a run defense grade of 68.4, which is really interesting. So what do you guys think about him on the surface before we dive deeper into the scouting report here?
I mean, I like him. I was just looking at some of his other measurables. Draft Buzz is talking about some of his strengths. It's the prototypical size and length for an NFL boundary cornerback, allowing him to match up with bigger receivers on the outside. It says he excels in press man coverage, using his long arms and strong hands to disrupt receivers. I think what's even more telling is when you go to his list of quote-unquote weaknesses, there's only 4. One of them says occasionally relies too heavily on his physical tools, leading to grabby play and potential penalties when beaten vertically. Once it can be inconsistent in run support, sometimes taking poor angles and failing to disengage from blocks effectively. Another is improving his tackling technique and consistency, and then may struggle initially against NFL caliber route runners. And that's his 4 weaknesses. I think that most of those weaknesses are understandable for even the position of cornerback, and one for a young cornerback. And I think that they're all traits that he can work on. And if he were to make those weaknesses into even being, break even type stuff, let alone maybe even a strength in a game, maybe future in his game, he could be an absolute hidden gem. And you look at the level of competition he went against, it's very intriguing.
Yeah. I think this could be like Kalen King all over again. If you're looking for a late round corner to add in the draft, 6th or 7th round, this is probably one of your guys that'll probably be there for sure. Add some value.
Exactly what I was going to say, Tim. Take a flyer on a dude that was a top potential coming out of high school, thinking, traits at that point, like we talked about earlier, going 6th, 7th round in the draft. What is it? You're basically just projecting. You're just picking up traits, saying, hey, do I think that we can shape him into anything? Do we think he can become something? And go for it.
Yep. Especially with Jair being up in the air too. You want to get some depth on the outside for sure.
You never know.
Yeah. Monster Aggressor UFO says, I love Jason. I've been watching him since he got to Florida. CJ Henderson and him was one of the best corner duos before CJ Henderson got drafted. So there you go. I love the fact that he chose Florida too, because could have got a lot more notoriety going to like Alabama, seeing that Florida's program's been down here recently. Yeah, that's it's very, very interesting to see someone kind of stick with the same school throughout those years as well. Because this is the other thing too. It's got to be in the back of your mind whenever you look up, and these are the other offers you got: Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, and LSU. When that program in Florida started to struggle like they have recently, in the back of the prospect's mind, they got to be thinking, I'm going to call up Bama. I wonder if Bama's still interested. I wonder if Ohio State's still interested. I wonder if Georgia's still interested. He didn't do that. He stayed pat, stayed right there in Florida. I respect the hell out of that, man, like wanting to turn a program around. I think it's
kind of a rare occurrence nowadays, for sure.
It really is, man. All right, college statistics. Marshall's 4-year run at Florida highlights a productive career cut short by injury. In 2021, he appeared in all 13 games as a reserve, recording 23 tackles, 1 interception, and 3 pass breakups. In 2022, he played in all 13 games with 4 starts, posting 29 tackles, 8 pass breakups, and 1 interception. His 2023 season saw him start all 12 games, tallying 26 tackles, 11 pass breakups, and 1 sack. In 2024, he started all 7 games he played, notching 20 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble before a shoulder injury in Week 8 win over Kentucky sidelined him for the season's second half. Career totals: 23 starts, 98 tackles, 2 interceptions, 26 pass breakups, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble across 45 games. Look at the RAS, though, Jensen. 6 foot, 194. He came in at a 9.42 RAS score. His vertical jump, 37.5 inches, scoring an 8.11. Broad jump at 10.05, scoring an 8.11. His 40-yard dash, some had reported a 4.46 and a 4.47. The official combine, or RAS card, I should say, is a 4.49. 20-yard split, a 2.60. But look at the burst at 10-yard split, 1.54, scoring an 8.32. So the RAS checks out real nice. The arm length, 30.25 inches. Hand size, 9.25 inches when it comes to the RAS card. So interesting prospect for sure. At the combine, Marshall checked in at 6 foot 194 with 30.25 inch arms, clocking a 4.49 40-yard dash and a 37.5 inch vert. Solid marks for a corner. His 2024 tape, though limited, reveals a press man specialist who uses his reach to disrupt receivers at the line and his speed to mirror downfield, fitting Green Bay's aggressive secondary scheme. He's got a quick trigger to jump routes with soft hands and a knack for breaking up passes, though his lighter frame and shorter arms can leave him vulnerable against bigger physical receivers. No shuttle was recorded, but his on-field agility suggests lateral quickness, projecting him as a day 3 pick with nickel or outside corner versatility. And you see, man, he's not scared to put his shoulder in there and tackle. That's against those Georgia Bulldogs with that pick there. It says injury and character concerns. Marshall's durability took a hit in 2024 with a shoulder injury sustained against Kentucky in Week 8. Ended his season after 7 games, raising questions about his recovery timeline. Prior to that, he showed resilience outside a minor hamstring tweak in 2022 that cost him 1 game. He'd been a fixture playing 45 career games. The late 2024 ankle ding referred earlier was a misreport. So evidently that wasn't even true. The shoulder issue was the true problem. Yeah. The shoulder issue was the true culprit. Off the field, he's a quiet leader, coachable, team first, and respected for his grind. A multi-sport athlete, track and basketball. Marshall's competitive streak remains clean with no off-field red flags. You're seeing a theme here with the no off-field stuff with Green Bay, right? Pretty cool. Draft projection. Jason Marshall slots as a round 5 to 6 prospect in the draft, backed by his number 332 ranking on our PTA big board. His speed and 23 starts make him a developmental gem for the Packers, who could target him with their late round picks. His ceiling is a rotational corner or nickel, hinges on adding strength, overcoming his shorter reach, and proving his shoulder is fully healed. While his floor as a special teams contributor fits Green Bay's history of polishing raw defensive backs like Rasul Douglas, a sleeper whose stock may hinge on pre-draft medicals as the draft nears. So, final thoughts on Jason Marshall here out of Florida, boys?
Again, I hate to keep bringing up Ja, but you talk about corners that had no problem sticking their shoulder in there until they had a shoulder injury, and things change. You know, shoulder injuries are tough on DBs. Kind of changes their approach. Sometimes it's for the better. It makes them play better with their feet and, beat the man in the spot rather than having to fly in and, shoot the gap and stuff like that. So I just there's a little bit of hesitancy there on my part. I know 6th or 7th round flyer, but there's no telling, what he's going to look like when he hits an NFL practice field, as far as the shoulder injury and stuff. So I don't know, keep a pin in it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jacob.
I mean, Fred's talking about Sam Shields 2.0. I mean, that'd be a pleasant surprise if that's the case. With Joseph, I think, like Tim just highlighted, my biggest concern would be the injury situation. He's been pretty durable up until this point and showed, like Bucket said, that he can play through injury and has done it before. It's just the shoulder injury, like Tim just said. I loved the fact that Jair was willing to go in there, throw his head down, throw the shoulder in, make those meat missile type attacks. But that was all fun and games until it wasn't. And then the complete trajectory of Jair's career in Green Bay was halted by that one I don't want to say over aggressive, but looking back now, a seemingly maybe unimportant play that he threw his head in there. It's a fine line to walk when you're playing at that position for sure.
Yep. All I was going to ask was, is this deserving of a box in 24? Red box on the board.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
It sounds like it could potentially affect his draft position, right?
I mean, the fact that he didn't make it back at all the rest of the season.
Did he do the bench? Did he
No,
do the bench? He did not.
I think you got to put that on the board.
Yeah, put the red box on the board for $24 million. And what he's talking about, guys, if you aren't in the Patreon group, which, by the way, if you're in the Patreon group, you've got access to our updated board. We're updating it as often as we can. We're giving you guys the updated link.
I just put one out there this morning.
Yeah, thank you for that, Emilio. So when you see the red boxes under that year with the PFF ranking at their position, what that's saying is, hey, injury here, okay? Had an injury. And that could be, you see one in 23 – and the score is a little lower, and you go, okay, well, he was playing hurt probably. If he bounced back in 24, all right, we feel good about it. There's no red box there. If you have a red box in 24, that's suggesting, hey, might be some lingering injury issue there. Now, once we get confirmation, no, they're fully healthy, they're good to go, we'll pull that red box. But we're just a couple weeks away from the draft. There's probably not going to be much changing in that regard. So thank you for doing that, Emilio. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's move it along, boys. So again, keep an eye out for Jason Marshall. I don't know. Did you guys get the same feeling as me? Like going in, seeing where he was at on our board, seeing the PFF rankings and stuff. It's like, man, this guy, what are we doing? And then when you read 5-star recruit in the state of Florida, and the dude decided to stay at Florida where that program struggled, it's like, I don't know, man. There might be something there. Somebody said it in the chat. I can't remember who it was. Said Sam Shields 2.0. I'm not going to lie, man. That was the same exact person I thought of. Was it Fred? Yeah, Fred McFarley. Yeah, that's the same person I thought. I was like, this kind of sounds like Sam Shields. Now, Sam Shields was a lot faster. I want to say like 4.3-ish. I could be wrong there. But it just seems like one of those dudes that's an athletic freak real late in the draft, all of a sudden on the practice squad or kind of playing that backup role for a little bit, and then bang, he contributes to a championship run for sure. So, all right, there you go, Jason Marshall. out of
What
Florida.
about real quick? Itchy Soder asks an interesting question. Jamari Harris, I believe, out of Iowa, or Mr. Marshall that we just covered. Where do y'all have Jamari Harris on the PTA big board?
Jamari Harris is 137 on the board. East-West Shrine Bowl, he fits the measurables. 22, we had him at 224, 23, 367. 24, he was 35th. PFF did not actually have him on the big board. And consensus had him 174.
Yeah, so we've got him significantly higher. Jamari Harris significantly higher. Yeah, I like those Iowa kids too. I don't know about you guys, man, but they know how to coach up defense over there. So I would be totally on board with Jamari Harris at the right pick for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this. Is this true? Holmes said Shields was 6'2". I know he was really, really fast, but I didn't know he was 6'2". That's wild. If that's true, let me go to the RAS. It'll take it a minute to load, so we'll just keep talking here. But anybody else you want to see on the board here while we got it pulled up before we move on to the cornerback room? Anybody at all you guys can think of? And I tell you what we could do since we've been doing this here lately, since nobody has anybody. Let's look at the latest targets on the board. As it's filling up, ain't it, Emilio?
Quickly. We were just at 14 last night, 16 tonight. I mean, by middle of next week, I'd say we're capped at our 30.
Yeah. Read them off to them real quick while I try to get this RAS. So I got to know about
Not a problem. So from top of the board going down for us at 12, James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. At 15, Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M. 20th, wide receiver Mecca Ibuka, Ohio State. 22nd, Mikael Williams, edge, Georgia. 24, offensive tackle Josh Simmons, Ohio State. 26, Siobhan Ravel. I said that wrong. Ravel, corner, East Carolina. 36.
It's tough, ain't it, Emilio? It's tough to remember all this stuff.
Yeah. 36, Tyleek Williams, D-line, Ohio State. 37, wide receiver Matthew Golden, Texas. 40, D-line TJ Sanders, South Carolina. 112, inside O-lineman Jacob Bayer. We have him as center from Arkansas State. Nice unis, cool stadium in college football. 126, wide receiver Isaiah Bond from Texas. 145, Anthony Belton, tackle out of NC State. 242, Dalton Cooper, tackle out of Oklahoma State. 289, John Williams, tackle out of Cincinnati. And 332, Jason Marshall, cornerback out of Florida. And 356, Esapol, tackle out of Washington State.
Thick.
There you go. So again, the big thing that sticks out there to me is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that are kind of within striking distance of 23, all the way down to Tyleek Williams. That's the big. Now you could say Tyleek's a bit of a reach at 23. I can understand that. Savone Rebel is one of those dudes that, in my opinion, I'm on board. You see the red box there, but everybody's saying this dude is on track. He's going to be just fine. What was it we said? Clocked at 21 mile an hour on the treadmill or something crazy. So and hearing his coaches, his teammates talk about his leadership is just like sold me on him. And hearing Greg Cosell saying he's the best press man corner in this entire draft as well. Not that we want to play press, but if you ever have to scheme up one random Sunday, all right, guys, we're going to go out here and play press man and really jam him at the line of scrimmage. He's a dude that's got that in his bag for sure. So in terms of Sam Shields, I'm going to drop this down real quick and actually pull the RAS card. I like looking back at old RAS cards, man. This is really cool. So Sam Shields actually measured in at 5'10" was his height. So he wasn't 6'2". He was 5'10", 184 pounds. Pretty wild. He had 15 bench reps though to be that small. And his 40-yard dash officially on the RAS card was 4.30. There were some reports that it was in the 4.2s, and that may have, maybe there was some validity to that. I like that Math Bomb kind of goes with, hey, here's what all the major people were saying in the draft community that the actual time was this, as opposed to, what it may or may not have been. But the broad jump too, man, that was the big thing. Was his vert and his broad jump. His broad jump 11.01 is crazy, man. So,
yeah.
Yeah. All righty. So there you go. Again, 5'10.5" was the height on the official RAS card for Sam Shields. Since we're talking corner here, y'all want to dive into the cornerback room real quick? Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So I thought it was kind of fitting seeing that we've had a couple cornerbacks that we're looking to potentially draft here. I just thought, hey, let's walk through the cornerback room pre-draft and see what we've got here. So as we take a deep dive on it here on April 7th is when I wrote the article a couple of days ago. I'm sorry, Bucket Skoldenberg did. The Packers have assembled a mix of established talent, emerging young players, and untested depth at the cornerback position, which has been a focal point after a 2024 season where their pass defense ranked 11th in the NFL, allowing 6.4 yards per pass attempt. I repeat, we had the 11th best passing defense in terms of yards per pass attempt, and I feel like that's the most important metric to measure how good a passing defense is, in my opinion. With new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley's aggressive scheme emphasizing cover 2 zone variations with simulated pressures, the cornerbacks face ups and downs but showed promise. Here's a breakdown of the key players, their roles, strengths, challenges, and the overall state of the room based on the latest information, including their 2024 PFF grades. So we got them ranked in the order of PFF grades here. Number 1 on the list is Jair Alexander, 75.2. His role, number 1 quarterback lockdown defender on the outside. His 2024 performance, if he returns to Green Bay, Alexander remains the cornerstone of the Packers secondary, sometimes tasked with the shadowing top receivers. In 2024, he logged 10 starts, 3 interceptions, and 8 pass breakups, though injuries limited him to under 70% of the defensive snaps. His PFF grade reflects his elite play when healthy. His strengths, exceptional agility, ball skills, and confidence in man coverage. He's a 2-time All-Pro in 2018 and 2022 and consistently disrupts passing games. Challenges, durability remains a concern. Hamstring and knee issues sidelined him for chunks of 23 and 24. His fiery personality also led to a 1-game suspension in 23, though he's been a leader since. Contract status, signed through 2026 on a 4-year, $84 million extension with a potential out in 2026 with trade rumors swirling all off-season, boys.
Took it down the sideline, turned over with my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
So what do we obviously Jair was hands down the best corner in the room. There's no denying that, right? Anything you guys want to add to that? Maybe something I missed. Again, 75.2 is even a little low for Ja, but still the best corner in the room last year.
Still the best corner in the room, still on this team if nothing happens.
Still working out in the offseason with Xavier McKinney, you know?
Yeah. And also reaching out to Nate Hobbs and saying, hey, man, welcome to the squad type thing.
Yep.
It's,
Yep. Sounds like a team player to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he might be back. I don't know, man. We may pop up on draft night and he get traded. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm tired of putting percentages on it because I keep going back and forth, man. I can't figure it out. So 2-0 for this says I really don't want Jair to go anywhere. I think a lot of fans feel that way, man. I really do. Especially when they realize we're not going to get 2 first-round picks for him.
Right.
No, bub. Sorry. It's amazing how we think someone is trash, but we think the rest of the league is going to give up multiple, top picks. But anyway, Carrington Ballantyne, this is the guy that I'm excited about. PFF grade 65.5, role outside cornerback, number 2 or rotational starter, 2024 performance. Valentine, a 7th-round pick, stepped up in his second year, playing 14 games with 6 starts, recorded 34 tackles, 1 interception, and 5 pass breakups. I thought he had 2 picks. That may be an error right there. Might have just been 1. Showing growth as a boundary defender. Strengths, his length, 6 foot, 189, and competitiveness in press coverage. He's a willing tackler and has flashed upside in limited snaps. Challenges, inconsistent technique, and a tendency to get grabby led to 4 penalties in 2024. His PFF grade suggests he's still developing into a reliable starter. Contract status, he's under a rookie deal through 2026. Guys, when I look at this whole cornerback room, and that's what we're going to end this whole show with, is like, how do we feel about the entire cornerback room? If Ja isn't on this team, I'm not panicking. I'm not. Yeah. Ja missed a large majority of the season last year. What did they say, over 70% of the snaps? And we still finished 11th in pass defense in terms of yards per pass attempt. Like, what do we even, you know what I mean? It just, to me, it proves the Nate Hobbs signing, and we'll get to him here in a second. If anything, you don't have to go out and do anything desperate in the draft. You don't. But I will say this, even if Jair is back, if Jahdae Barron is the best on the board when we pick at 23, him and Jair on the same field, along with a newly added Nate Hobbs and a Carrington Ballantyne who's starting to get better, I feel really good about where we're at. But what do y'all think about Carrington here?
Good pickup. I'm glad they pulled the trigger on him. We just talked about Jason Marshall there. if it's something like that where you're going to take a flyer on him, we tried it with King. We'll see how that pans out. You get him. It's like you get him, you pick him in that round. All right, nothing happened this past year. Tough to get him on the field. All right, let's see how he does. Man, this year he tore it up for us, or he really did. Make a name for yourself, someone with a chip on their shoulder. I think that's another nice thing you get. If you have a real dog that you find back in those late rounds, they come out there with a chip on their shoulder, not being drafted. No one thinks who they are. Hey, I was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, but you're getting no love coming out of college. So, make a name for yourself now.
Yep. And those Kentucky Wildcat guys are no stranger to that situation, right? We've seen it before. I think when you look at like the challenges here, inconsistent with the technique, tendency to get a little grabby, we've seen that. And I think that's something he'll clean up as he continues to develop. He's under contract through next year. I can't wait to see how he comes out this season.
Yeah, I think another year under his belt, Carrington, having under Jeff Hafley's tutelage. And we keep forgetting about the passing game coordinator, too, the secondary coach. I keep forgetting his name. We talked about him. Ansley, right?
Yeah, D.A.
Derek Ansley is like a dog, dude. Like, I mean, having Carrington Valentine try to learn under him, light that fire, I'm really excited to see what he does for sure. So, like what Monster says here in the chat, Jair and Barron and Nixon and CV and Hobbs are elite. That would just be a hell of a cornerback room, man. It really would.
Yep.
Really, really would. All right, up next on the list, Keyshawn Nixon, PFF grade 64.0. His role, slot cornerback, obviously kicked to the outside, actually played better outside last year, in my opinion. And special teams ace 2024 performance. Nixon played 65% of the defensive snaps, mostly in the slot, with 42 tackles, 1 interception, and 6 pass breakups. His real value came as a returner, earning first-team All-Pro honors in 22 and 23, though his 24 return stats dip slightly. His strength, speed, and tenacity, and run support. His versatility keeps him on the field. Challenges, struggles in coverage against quick slot receivers, reflecting in his middling PFF grade. He's more of a hustle player than a shutdown defender. His contract status signed a 3-year, $18 million deal in 2024, locked in through 2026. Now, I feel like he's more of an outside corner than a slot. If it ends up being Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, and Nate Hobbs, let's say Ja's gone and we don't get the cornerback we want in the first round, I would like to see, me personally, Nate Hobbs in the slot, Keyshawn on the outside, and Carrington on the outside. I think that Keyshawn plays better on the outside. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But.
I didn't feel that way until last season.
Right.
He certainly surprised a lot of us with his ability to play on the boundary. And then, of course, having Bullard being able to step down there into the slot, certainly helped allow us to do that, even with Ja being, off the field. So I agree, though. Keyshawn is definitely better on the boundary, which is it's crazy to be saying that because, we spent so much time in 22 kind of evaluating him in the slot as a defender and, seeing him make that transition and actually hold his own. It's a good sign.
Yeah, I think I think that, if you get a guy that's getting cooked in a two-way in the slot, that's tough, right? And you paid him the money to return. You want to see if it'll work. Him playing outside wasn't bad. He got us through the season. We didn't have Ja. We got to be thankful that Nixon was there, else it'd be even worse. But we want more out of him. At least I want asking more out of Nixon. I think he wants more. And that kind of drive, I think, could bring him, maybe into the 70s, something like that. Battle. We're going to have if we're bringing in another corner, Ja, we got Nate Hobbs in there. I think we're really going to have a nice battle. A lot of iron sharpens iron in the offseason, try to get better with competition.
Yeah. H.E. Solder says, Nixon reminds me of Mike McCoy, a smaller guy that gets the most out of his ability and is an okay piece, but teams can put him in bad spots if they really need to get something. So there you go. Kind of mixed reviews there in the chat. Like Joseph says, he agrees on Nixon. Chuck Goodman says, not a Nixon fan. Sorry, no need to apologize, brother. It's all good, man. See a lot of people mentioning Kalen King already. We're going to get to him here in a second, which I think there's a chance we got something there too. If they would just give him a damn opportunity. Like that drove me crazy last year. We kept putting Eric Stokes out there. I'm like, I would rather see Kalen King on the field and just see what we got there than watching, because Stokes just looked so uncomfortable, man. So
to Caden King's point, Tremont Miller. Caden King was a first grade DB as a junior. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you got to be patient because you never know.
Yeah. All right, Nate Hobbs, the free agent acquisition here this offseason. PFF grade 61.4, rotational slot / outside cornerback. 2024 performance acquired from the Raiders in the 2024 trade. Hobbs brought experience with 42 tackles and 4 pass breakups in 13 games for Green Bay. They're drunk here, boy. Lord have mercy. He split time between the slot and outside, playing 55% of the snaps. Obviously, he was signed out of free agency, guys. Strengths, physicality, and instincts. He's a solid tackler. You see that all over the tape when you watch him. And me and Tim got in here watching some of his clips one night, and it's like, this dude is aggressive. He is the epitome of attacking the football. I really like it. 86% completion rate in 2024 and reads routes well in zone. Challenges lacks top end speed and gets exposed in man coverage against faster receivers, contributing to his lower PFF grade. Contract status inked a 4-year, $48 million contract with Green Bay last month. So, when you look at his rookie tape, if you guys want to see his ceiling, go watch his rookie tape. He was he not, Tim? Like that whole highlight reel.
That was incredible. I was fired up, man, just watching that. Super excited about having him here, and he's going to fit in perfectly in Hafley's defense because that's what Hafley's all about: being aggressive, playing the ball.
Yeah, and then it's like when you look at why did it click so much his rookie year? Rich Bisaccia was there, right? And then once Rich Bisaccia was gone, it seemed to kind of spiral out of control. So hopefully we could get the best out of him with Rich being on staff. What do you think, Amelia? I mean, it's not the sexiest free agent signing for sure. And again, like we always say, a 4-year deal is really a 3-year deal. In this case, it kind of feels more like a 2-year deal than even a 3-year deal because of the guaranteed money that's involved. So you give him a 2-year run there, and then you got rights to him 2 more years. It essentially turns into a club option after year 2. With some cap penalty obviously attached, but you can get out from under it pretty easy, man. I feel like it's, hey, let's take a swing here to kind of raise the floor in the cornerback room, just like we did with the wide receiver room and signing Mecole Hardman in case you don't get that wide receiver that you want in the draft, like an Egbuka or someone that maybe Goody's on. So I like it. It's a safe pickup, and you kind of stabilize that room a touch in case Ja's not going to be here. But what do you think?
Absolutely. And I think that, if you're looking at the room, do you want to go right back into next year with the exact same thing, just a couple of rookies coming in? So how are you going to have someone unseat a veteran if the rookie's not that, top 10 talent? It's going to be tough for him to go ahead and get in there, get reps in practice, get enough time in front of the coaches to see him, make plays. Even with Evan Williams and Bullard, I mean, they you got a little bit of time, but it took how long for them to even get on the field? If you bring in a veteran, you can kind of push that room a little bit more, kind of get the best out of everyone a little bit sooner, and then move on from there. And when that trade happened, I just went through some of the comments in that post. Man, it seemed like every Raider fan was upset that they let him go. Like, how are we going to do this to our defense? We've got nobody left. Like, he was holding the secondary together. So it really is how you look at it. I mean, if we're looking at it from the outside or the inside, that you get a completely different perspective.
Yeah, and it reminded me too, seeing those same comments, Amelia. It reminded me of when we lost Coach Campanelli, right, our linebacker coach. All Packer fans jumped into the comments and like, "Y'all just got a damn dog. Y'all got a dog of a coach." Hated to see him go, man. He probably would have been my top choice to protect, other than Jeff Hafley. Maybe Ansley over top of him, and it's obvious that who was it? The Jaguars that went and got him. Am I thinking right?
Yeah, it was a promotion, right? So we couldn't block the promotion.
Right.
So,
DC,
congrats. Yeah, totally deserves it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Let's go to the chat real quick, see what everybody's saying. This was earlier. 2-0 for this says, I feel like all these players are measured with Ryobi tape measures, which is why there's a lot of error. Milwaukee tape measures would be extremely accurate. There you go. Sponsor the show, Milwaukee.
Please, we're close.
Holmes MD1 says he reminds me of Antoine Winfield quite a bit. Hey, that's a hell of a comp there. If that's the case, sign me up. H.E. Solder, physicality is the thing I like about Hobbs. Same thing we've seen on the tape. Fred McFarley, Half has a new chess piece, and Hobbs versatile and aggressive. And again, man, that's something you can tone down aggressive, but you can't put that in a player. You can't say, man, I need you to go out there and play more aggressive. You either got it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of feels like when you do try to tone down a player's aggressivity, as Brady Papinga would say, you end up in a situation like Quay Walker, right? His rookie year, he was just turning it loose. He was a dog, and you get get ejection from the game, and now it seems like he's kind of, trying to tone that back. You just got to go out there and turn it loose. I don't think Hobbs will have any issue with that.
Yeah. I feel for Kalen King this year, because we were talking about Stokes stealing all his snaps, and then, we part ways with Stokes, who, funny enough, goes to the Raiders, which is hilarious. And then we, just when Kalen King's probably thinking like, man, I'm gonna get that shot this year, man, really gonna get some extra reps, and we bring in a dog like Nate Hobbs to the squad. So I think it's going to bode well for the Packers either way, though. But I really hope King sees some of the field this year.
Yeah. H.E. Solder says, feels like they will mix and match at cornerback in 2025. I agree with that, too. Yep. A lot of guys with slot versatility. One of those guys is Javon Bullard. Now, he didn't grade out well last year, 54.2, hybrid safety / cornerback, primarily a slot defender. In 2024, the 2024 second-round pick, number 58 overall, transitioned from safety to a nickel role, playing 12 games with 38 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble. Strengths, versatility, and football IQ. He's comfortable in the box or covering tight ends and slot receivers. Challenge is still adjusting to the slot role with occasional lapses in coverage against their shiftier targets. His size, 5'10", 198, can be a mismatch outside. Contract status on his rookie deal through 2027. I want to say this about Javon Bullard. Much like Keyshawn Nixon going outside, he looked better there. Javon Bullard looked way better in the slot than he did at safety, in my opinion. So what you've got is Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Javon Bullard, who have experience in the slot. So that really raises that floor in the slot room, in my opinion. That way, all right, you can mix and match guys outside, like Solder was saying, and you're in a good spot there in terms of slot defender. If you somehow have Jahdae Barron fall to you at 23 and you go that route in the first round, guess what? You got another guy who can play in the slot as well. And it doesn't mean that's where they're going to primarily be. It's just, it's nice having that. If you get an injury, these guys can, it's not going to be foreign to them, So I think it's really, really, really cool. So do you guys agree with that? Do you feel like he played better in the slot than at safety?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, why we kind of saw Evan Williams kind of solidify his role back there. He was given an opportunity and he took it and ran with it. And you saw what happened when he was banged up and we had to stick Bullard back there. You could see the clear disconnect, in the secondary. So I would agree, because when we watch him play in the slot, he's an absolute monster. And still a little rough, still a little raw. But I think Javon Bullard is going to continue to develop really nicely. But I agree. I like him way, way more as a slot corner.
Yeah, I would agree. I like him in the slot, though. I'm going to stand up for Bullard and having to switch midway through the week to go to safety a couple of times this year. And I mean, that's a lot on a rookie for learning 2 roles, 2 sets of coverages, 2 sets of calls. So I mean, he can do it right. Came from Georgia, big program, able to handle it. But, the numbers and the grades might not show it, just because he was asked to do a lot as a rookie, and he still came through and was on the field that whole time, even when they're asking him to do all that. So I'm excited to see where he goes this next year for sure.
Yeah. Daryl in the chat says, man, Kalen King barely played 2024 season. Kind of thought he'd, or at least let him grow into it. Yeah, it kind of found yourself, once Bullard kicked to the slot, it's like, Kalen King ain't ever going to see the field. This sucks, So maybe you will this year. And that's who we got up next. Obviously, there's no PFF grade. There's not enough snaps. 7th-round pick from Penn State. King spent most of his rookie year on the practice squad or as a healthy scratch, seeing minimal defensive snaps. His strengths, college tape showed good ball skills. He had 18 pass breakups in 2022 at Penn State. Has a 4.47 40-yard dash that suggests potential. His challenges, raw technique, and lack of NFL experience make him a project. No PFF grade due to limited action. His contract status, he's under contract through 2027 is what it says here. Which I want to say that rookie year voided. I could be wrong when they kicked him to the practice squad, but he's definitely under contract for 2 years the way that works, I'm pretty sure. Right. So Kamal Haddon, PFF grade not available there as well. Again, we're just kind of rounding this room out, and then we'll wrap up. Another 2024 late-round pick, 6th-round pick. So he was drafted in the 6th round by the Chiefs, then cut, if I remember correctly. We picked him
out of Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. Hadn't played sparingly, mostly on special teams. He logged under 50 defensive snaps. His size says he's 6'1", 195. I didn't realize he had that kind of size and physicality. Could fit Hafley's scheme long-term. Challenges, inconsistent college production, and a steep learning curve have kept him off the field. No PFF grade available. He's under contract through 2027 is what it says. Rookie deal, which that should be reset too. So it's 2025. That makes sense. Should be a 2-year kind of, you got rights to him for 2 to 3 years, if I remember correctly. So, and then of course you got Isaiah Dunn. I don't think anybody knows who he is.
Who?
Dunn, a journeyman signed in 2024. His strengths: a 4.41 40-yard dash and hustle makes him a roster bubble mainstay. Challenges: limited impact as a defender. He's yet to prove he can handle consistent coverage duties. No PFF grade due to limited role. Contract status: he is facing free agency in 2026. So overall state of the room, it says the Packers cornerback group is anchored by Jair Alexander, whose elite play elevates the unit when he's on the field. Depth is a plus with Valentine, Nixon, Hobbs, and Bullard, offering a mix of experience and youth. Hafley's scheme thrives on versatility, and players like Bullard and Nixon provide flexibility across the secondary. The group's tackling improved in 2024 with the missed tackle rate dropping to 9.8%. The league average is actually 10.5%. Challenges, injuries, and inconsistency plague the room. Alexander's health woes, Valentine's penalties, and Nixon's coverage struggles mean there are no reliable cornerback two to complement Jair. The lack of PFF grades for King, Haddon, and Dunn highlights how untested the back end is. Depth could falter if starters go down. Against top passing attacks, Detroit, Philadelphia, the secondary was exposed in 2024, allowing 8+ yards per attempt in those 3 losses there. So future outlook with Alexander locked in and Bullard and Valentine, King and Haddon under contract through at least 2026. The core is set. However, Hobbs hits free agency in 2026. That is not true. So disregard that. And Nixon's deal expires after 2026. So decisions loom. The Packers could target a day 2 corner in the 2025 draft. Can somebody say Trey Amos? Someone like Michigan's Will Johnson, if he falls, boy, that would be awesome if he fell somehow to the second round, wouldn't it? Or Notre Dame's Benjamin Morrison fits their mode of long, athletic press corners. For now, this unit relies heavily on Alexander staying healthy and Valentine or Bullard stepping up. Texas's Jahdae Barron would be a dream if he were to fall to pick 23. They've been listening to us, boys. They've been listening to us. So, final thoughts. It's just pretty much going to repeat the same thing there, I'm pretty sure. So when you look at the overall cornerback room, how many spots do you think we have open, guys? Let's really look at this. Pretend Jai is on the roster right now, okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If Jair is on this roster, you've got 5 corners locked into a 53-man roster spot, right? So if Jai's not here, you got room for 1 more. Are you going to carry 6? I can't remember what we broke camp with last year, but if you carry 5, you're pretty much set if Josh stays, right? Yeah. And I think that was the whole point of the Nate Hobbs signing is like, hey, we don't have to freak out, right? Yeah. So, final thoughts here on the cornerback room, Jens?
No, I would agree with that assessment. I think Jair is the spot, right? If he's gone, there's a spot. If he's not and he's healthy and he's going to be available, then I think you're right. We probably got our 5, unless they do, break camp with 6 or something, but it's tough to see, but with Hobbs coming in, I agree with that statement. That was, I don't want to use the word contingency plan, but let's be real. It was basically a contingency plan. You go out and you get a solid guy in free agency that's going to help your football team with or without Jair Alexander. So whatever happens, however the cookie crumbles, we're ready to go. Like you said, we don't have to panic.
Right. And how often are you pulling in a 5th, 6th, 7th round corner and they're starting? I mean, how often are you? So that's something you got to kind of take into effect. Hey, let's take a veteran that's been there, been with one of our coaches already, and can play inside out versatility. I think all the signs just pointed to we have to get this guy in here just to give us something.
Yep.
There you go. There's your cornerback room. Again, we also highlighted Jason Marshall just to give everybody an idea. That could be a late round pick, right? One of those dudes, or maybe an undrafted free agent if he falls that far. Who knows, though? Jahdae Barron, was he a top 30 visit too, Emilio? Am I thinking right? He was not. What are the top 30 visits looking like in the cornerback room? Savone Revel, right? That's it?
Yes.
And Jason Marshall now. So,
yes.
So you got
one early, one super late.
Yep. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Badger Trio with the super chat says, just drove past the stage. The roof is up. It is glorious. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am about this draft.
Going quick, man. It's coming together. There was no roof yesterday when I was over there, so that's awesome.
We thought we were flying into town a little later, Emilio. We're getting to Green Bay at 11 a.m., ain't we?
Yeah, no, we're going to be there. We're going to have some time.
I'm going to get me a cat nap in, bro. We go to dinner Tuesday night and got to set everything up. We'll probably do a show before we go to dinner, maybe afternoon.
There you go.
Yeah, knock that out.
We'll lace up the Heelys and get you on the town, Clay.
Hey, let's go, man. You kidding me? I'm excited, man. Good food. Might have a daddy soda. I don't know. We'll see what happens at dinner. We'll see what happens. No, it's going to be a good time, and it's. I'm so glad we decided to go. And this isn't a shot at anybody who's not going. I understand, man. Life gets in the way. I had to move hell and half of Georgia to make my schedule work, so I completely get it. But like I said, when I told Manny, I was like, I don't, she literally threw something. She threw a notebook in the floor or something. It made a loud noise. I'm like, what the hell? She said, when's the next draft in Green Bay? And I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be 32 years. She was like, I said, you're right. I ain't making it that long. I'm probably going to be checked out by then. So I'll be taking a dirt nap by then. I won't get to see it. So, and I see people like Joseph said, sad I won't be there. Thank you for the super chat, Badger Trio. We're going to do our best to make you guys feel like you're there, right? Mm-hmm. All through the day while we're hanging out the draft, we're going to try to put social media posts up. Stay glued into Twitter at Packers_access. Stay glued into YouTube. I'm going to be posting shorts there as quick as we can get them out, just so you guys can kind of feel like you're there. And we're still going to be doing our live draft party from Green Bay. Now, obviously, we couldn't get a spot over there. They're not letting anybody do any live podcasting other than the major networks. So we will be in Green Bay at the B&B. We're going to have a really cool setup and keep the draft party going like we have every year, and just be there throughout the day. So we will make sure that you guys and gals that can't make it will feel like you're there as much as we can, for sure, man. So anything else, gents? We covered a lot tonight, man. I'm glad we got through those. I wasn't expecting to hit 3 top 30 visits tonight, but we were able to get them in, and I'm glad. I want to stay up on that. I want to make sure the Patreon group is just littered with information. If you guys have questions about prospects, you can go straight to the Patreon group, click on any of the page, check out the collections. We got them all sorted by position. Top 30 visits, you can go to the top 30 visits folder, and literally all the scouting reports of the top 30 visits are already in there. So make sure you check that out. So, and
if you're not a member, scan there we go, right here. Scan that QR code. Join the Patreon.
Absolutely. It's growing like crazy, man. I love it too. It's not even like you look up and see the numbers and go, man, this is awesome. It's the feedback you get, the direct messages are like, bro, this $3, you're getting all this information. And we're all kind of learning together. That's the cool thing too. You got a direct line to me constantly. Emilio's in there, Tim's in there. Just go in the chat, ask a question. We'll get you the info. You also get the draft board in there as well. It's really cool, man. Really. I wish I'd have done it sooner, but and the thing that triggered it was, these people who wanted to donate to the show, to support the show, the Patreon group just sat there, and it was just, hey, there's a way you can do it. That's the only way I know to figure it out, right? And then it's like, hold up a minute, why don't we give them something a little extra in there? And it's really taken over. So it's really, really cool. So
absolutely.
Keith in the chat, thanks for the show, guys. No, thank you, man. Appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Everybody, Fred McFarley, everybody, man. You guys are awesome. Chuck, H.E. Solder. Too many to mention here. Clint, armchair quarterback, 2-0 for this. You guys are awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get out of here. I'm going to go save my marriage, get some content uploaded. Tim, I know you got this to end the show on, baby. How many days?
15 days, baby. Bart Starr days till the draft. Let's go.
Wow.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, again, we'll be flying into town Wednesday, and we're going to be hanging out till Sunday. We leave Sunday. So, my goal is to do a show Saturday after the draft wraps up. We won't be live during the draft on day 3. We're going to be over there hanging out. If it gets boring over there, we may come back and jump on the live stream. But we're going to give you guys a recap. And then I'm hoping if no flights get delayed, I'll be in this chair Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central to go live and get you guys a show there. And then it's, all right, boys, I'll start grinding and put together some chalk talks for all the prospects that we drafted. It's going to be fun. So,
love it.
Right. Everybody have a great night. We appreciate you. Hit that like button on the way out. Check out the Patreon group. It's the best way to support the show. And we will see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. Y'all take care.
And we go.
All right.
Bye, guys.